We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today, Jill and I talk about turning a hateful mailer response into a 7-digit real estate deal.
Which happens all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of funny? You know, what's interesting? It really depends on how you look at these. Like, we are doing some deals with a certain, I know we're going to talk about later this week too. We have many partners out there, not just our partners, but we partner with other people and do deals with them, usually through deal funding, but sometimes other ways. But the point is, this other individual thinks like we think, where he's like, I'm not afraid of hate. What's so bad? He's like, we call it the hate. It's not that big of a deal. It's really how you look at it. It was a not a hell yes response. That's kind of it. Like, it was a no way response, and then we turn it around.
Here's the typical anatomy of responses that you get to a mailer. So you send out 10,000 units, you do all your homework, you price it right, you do the stuff that we teach in Land Academy 3.0. You can send a mailer out, and you wait 2 weeks for the mail to hit, between 1 and 2 weeks. And you start to get, in the beginning, some pretty angry people that immediately open the envelope. They're real unhappy with the price or some version of it, and they called it, which I don't understand, but they call and tell you about it.
Right as they're walking, you can tell they are literally walking with the letter in their hand back from their mailbox. It's the funniest thing.
And so, but that's, and then as the mailer progresses, so that's the first week. As the mailer progresses, there's a little bit of a quiet period where some people call back and say, yeah, I actually really do want to send I do want to sell my property to you. And maybe for a different price, but we're in the ballpark. Right. And then the third and final phase of the reception of the mailer is back to the sender, which is us. Yeah, I think I'm just going to, what do I do next? I do want to sell my property. I talk to my husband or I talk to my wife, and that's it. I'm ready to go. Mm-hmm. So you get all that angry stuff up front, then there's some mediocre negotiation, and then at the end, you just buy a bunch of real estate. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, if you do everything right. Julie has a real specific case study on this episode, mm-hmm. where she's going to take us step by step through what happened with this particular seller, and now we're doing the deal.
Cool.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And I hope you can now log on to parcelfact.com and see all the improvements that we made in combining 2 separate sites that we had, where you can do phase 1 due diligence. It's all now in a nifty little package. And honestly, I don't have to manage 2 sites anymore. I only have to manage one.
Nice?
Great one.
Exactly.
Check it out. Parcelfact, FACT.com.
I like to say the test worked.
We did a split test, and we decided they're better together.
We picked the best one. Exactly. It's great. Aaron wrote, I'm double closing on a rural 10-acre property in blank state. Is there any reason I should pay for title insurance? It's a simultaneous close, so I won't own it for any period of time, and the end buyer will be getting title insurance, I'm guessing at a later date. I figured I could save a few bucks, but not sure if that may expose me to something. For example, if there's a claim on the end, the buyer's policy, might the title company come after me down the road?
No.
Thank you.
This is a double close. So there's 2 ways to do what we do.
Right.
Here's the right way. I'm not sure Aaron's doing it the right way, but here's the right way. You find a seller, and you buy their piece of real estate, and everybody negotiates the deal. It's $35,000. The only reason we would ever buy a piece of property at $35,000 is we know we can sell it for 70 or 80 really quickly. So we buy it, and we own it, and we get title insurance, and we go through, and it would be just as if we bought a house and lived there for 30 years. But that's not the case with what we do. We buy it, we own it, we get title insurance. Hopefully we only own it for a week. Then we immediately post it on the internet or call one of our potential buyers, and then they buy it from us. Very, very straightforward. And they consequently get a title insurance policy when they're done, and they own it. and everybody goes on their merry way. This double closing business that Aaron is talking about is this. I find a piece of property for $35,000. I know I can sell it for $70,000. Well, why would I buy it then? Why don't I just wholesale it, in air quotes?
Assign it
or wholesale it, sure. And so all I'm doing is I have a contract that says I can buy this property for $35,000. I hand the contract to Jill, and she buys it for $70,000. She writes her name in instead of mine. I never bought it. I just signed the contract to her. So in the chain of title, I'm not there. There's no reason I would need title insurance for that case.
It's really one transaction. I'm getting
it's
a
one
fee.
instead of two.
I'm just kind of getting it's like a commission. It'd be like, it's kind of like I'm getting a commission like I'm a real estate broker kind of thing.
Well, Jack,
just
why
a
wouldn't
fee
everybody
in
do
the
that?
middle.
It sounds glorious. I don't have to come up with the $35,000. I don't have to do I only have to do one transaction,
Right.
not two. Why do you guys do it this way? Why do you actually own the property?
Because I don't want anything to go wrong.
Because it's a great deal.
And I believe in it.
And it's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. So many things. I just talked to somebody about this the other day about all the possible things that can go bad doing assignments. One, it's unfortunately, it's giving wholesaling a bad rap and a bad name anymore. People are like, yeah, you're not even really going to buy it. You don't even believe in it, number one. And maybe you don't. And maybe that's why you're doing it too. Maybe you don't believe in the property. We do. My whole point is I believe in the property. If I didn't believe in the property, I wouldn't be doing this. And I either have the money myself to buy it, or I have someone in my back pocket who can fund the deal like us. So the money is in there, and I really buy it, and I own it, and now I turn around and now I sell it. I have 100% control over this transaction. If I didn't do this, I'm really opening myself up to people changing their mind, people getting mad, people going dark. You could have this assignment with a 90-day close, right? And be running around trying to shop for this. And then you find a buyer, you're all excited. You call the title company, and the title company turns around and said, oh no, Mr. Jones said he's not selling now. His brother wanted it. That could happen. You snooze,
all
you
these
lose
things
kind of thing.
have happened.
So many things can go wrong.
All these things have happened to us and our members in the way past, and that's why we're all here now doing it this way.
It just is. At the end of the day, I just don't feel right about
sneaky.
it too. I know. If you really believe in it, buy it.
It's not a finder's fee. I understand a finder's fee. I found this property.
Right.
I'm going to buy it for $35,000. I have a guy who regularly spends $70,000 on them. I'm going to charge him $5,000 to turn a deal over.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
And everybody else does too. So now he's buying it for $40,000 instead of $70,000, and because I'm an expert locator.
Right.
I get all that.
That's a separate kind of thing. That's true. Thank you.
Today's topic, turning a hateful mailer response into a 7-digit deal by Jill. This is why you're listening.
Here's the case study. So yeah, mail went out. This gentleman emailed back. It was about, I'm going to say a week. It's probably a week after the mail hit. And obviously thought about it and emailed me back. It was interesting, emailed me back pretty much like, thank you for your offer. Not happening. This is not at all what I would sell this for. Have a nice day. There wasn't any real mad I offended him. And even if there are, there was a little something there like, you must be nuts. This is not the price I'm going to take. If you look, I paid a whole lot more for this kind of thing, which the person did in 2005, by the way. So anyway, I always see those as there's a potential. I really want you to try to learn out of this. This is a couple takeaways. Takeaway number one is there might be something there when people write you back like this or call you back. Your job is to find out, dig just a little bit. So I didn't have a phone number. I didn't have any other way to reach this person. So I emailed back just a nice little, hey, thanks for letting me know. By the way, now I know you do want to sell. I didn't mean to insult you or, with this price. What is the number that you would be, happy to walk away from, keeping in mind, who we are, what we do kind of thing. So the guy wrote me back and we arranged a phone call. And this was so funny. So this was on let's say on a Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, we're emailing back. Friday, we decide, let's talk next week. let's talk on the phone. And because I want to get to know this guy. I got something there. I've had some time to look at this. It's actually a big property. It's over 150 acres. I'll just leave it at that. And it's awesome. Our original offer price was around $1,000 an acre. That's what we came out of the gate with. And I knew he wanted more. I also looked up and saw, and I did some digging, with my team, got a hold of the vesting deed. This guy paid like, I want to say over $20,000 an acre. Not kidding, because he paid close to $3 million for this property back in 2005. And it was during a time, I don't know if you guys remember, right? 2005, things were going up. All came crashing down, 7, 8, 9, things reset in a big way in a lot of places in this country. So anyway, then as we're communicating, I find out here's my number, and it's in England. I'm like, okay. So we arranged to talk that next Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. I'm like, sure, I'll call you. Anyway, I call him, and of course, too, I'm calling him. I'm leaving a voicemail. We're having internet issues. He's on a tiny island in Scotland. To add to this, so that's where he is. He's like, so he emails me back and says, I saw the missed call. I don't have great cell service, but I do have good Wi-Fi. Do you have WhatsApp? I'm like, and I had it on my phone. I'm like, give me a minute. So I quickly load WhatsApp right back on my phone so I can call. I'm like, let's go. So I call him. This is stuff too. Okay, takeaway number 2. Don't give up. Work with these people. I'm like, I can talk to you on WhatsApp. I'm like, that was brilliant. He thought of that. I'm like, done. So I put the app back on my phone so I can call this guy. So I call him, and we just, really nice gentleman. And he was like, look, I know I'm taking a hit. I really, and I did, like I said, I did my homework going into it. So I knew he was not fibbing here. He paid a whole lot more for this when he bought the property. And he said, look, I own a manufacturing company. I make the rubber stuff for kids' playgrounds. I happen to be in another part of the state back in the day when I spent the $3 million on this property. I know I'm not going to get that out of it, but I'm also not hurting for money. So I take $3,000.
This is a perfect seller then.
Oh, yeah. He's like, but I would take I'm going to take a hit. Just not that low of a hit. And he's like, I would be okay with $3,000 an acre to walk away from. And so I said, well, give me 24 hours. Let me see what I can do. So I went back, showed it to you. We talked about it.
I'm in love with this deal.
I know.
Money-wise and real estate-wise.
Can we make $3,000 work?
Seller-wise and all that.
Can we make $3,000 work? I kind of knew I could going into it, but there's a reason. Takeaway number 3. Even if I know right now in my head I have a number that I could make work and that's it, I still want him to think that I'm spending a lot of time on this, more time on this, and only on his deal. So I said, let's talk tomorrow. So we hang up, call him back tomorrow. We make a time and a to talk again. Call him back, and I talked to him. I still said, I was still not, sure, I could make it work, but is it better? I tried to meet in the middle. That's really where I came at it. I said, can we meet in the middle? Is there any way? Because that does work. It doesn't hurt to ask. Don't be snotty about it, but just go for it. Takeaway number 4. So he's like, no, I really can't. That is my bottom number. I all too have put a lot of thought into this. And I said, okay. Let me get back to you. And I didn't even say yes at that point. Hung up, and I'm like, all right, I couldn't get my meat in the middle, which would be like $300 something thousand. So he's on his $450 roughly an acre, or $450 total, $450,000 total dollars. So at $3,000 an acre. So I'm like, all right. So I go back to you. We actually already had your answer. So I'm like, now I'm putting it into play. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get a signed purchase agreement. Again, he's on this. I said, can you scan this out and cross off your number, cross off the original number, write in the new number we just talked about. I emailed him and just send it back to me. He's like, I don't have a printer. I said, not to worry. Give me 10 minutes. You're going to have a DocuSign. which we did, which he happily did. So we're solving problems together here. That's what we're doing. And he did it in minutes. And next thing I do is like, all right, now we're going to find a broker real quick. And this is a big enough property. Come on, it's 150 acres and I'm spending $450,000 on it. This is nothing to sneeze at. And it's my money, by the way. I'm not getting money from somebody else to fund my deal. This is our transaction. So now this is where I'm at right now today. By the time we're done recording these shows, I will probably have an answer from this broker. I got an initial comps from the broker within 2 hours of the phone call. We have a good guy that we just found in this area now that we really like, who's professional, older, owns property in the area, knows what he's doing. He's already listing a couple other properties for us right now. So anyway, I got the initial thing back. I've got the signed purchase agreement. I'm not opening escrow just yet because I don't want to triple check. Make sure before I plop down that money that we're all seeing what we think we're seeing here. It's zoned. I don't want to give away too much, but it could be ag, it could be residential. It's kind of in the middle.
Well, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen with the property. Is being farmed on 3 sides by separate farming companies.
Right.
It is zoned agriculture, but it has entire and complete water rights that come with it. And the water is being welled by the adjacent farming operations. So that's like no improvements are required. It just needs to be cleared to go into immediate farming, which is what will probably happen with this, whoever buys it. But what I love about this deal, and I'm not the only one looking at this area like this, is that it is right on the fringe of huge growth. And how do I know that? Not because I lived here forever, not because
it's not in our state.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even in our not because I lived here forever or there forever, not because it's all because of data. I can see exactly what the days on market are and analyze it. So it could be in any state.
Right.
I can see where that, I don't want to use the word growth path, but it's in an area that is rapidly, you can see all the new subdivisions that are going in on the fringe of what's happening. So it's and everybody else knows that.
Everybody knows what's coming in the area. Where everybody knows where the new Amazon is going to get plopped down. Everybody knows the new mall that's being built, or fill in the blank kind of thing. Well, I was going to say too. This came up in conversation the other day. Someone said, "Did you mail Scotland?"
Oh.
By the way, no, I did not mail Scotland. What was interesting, so this guy, he's professional. He's business, big business. He's probably got a branch here, but the letter, I believe, went through his attorney, who is in the United States, and then the attorney forwarded the letter to him.
If you own real estate, you have a mailing address because that's where the tax bills go. Mm-hmm. That's where we mail these letters to the tax, the notice of record.
Right.
Some people,
I wouldn't have done Scotland. I wouldn't have mailed Scotland.
Some people have statutory agents. Some people get the mail at their own P.O. box. There's, wherever the tax bills go. So we have a system like that. Jill and I have had the same mailbox since the early 90s. And so wherever we are in the entire country, we have people that are local here that manage that and get whatever mail comes to us, physically.
Right. And we're buds now. And by the way, 5th takeaway, we didn't talk very much. We just had like that, but that first initial conversation was pleasant and professional. And it was easy for me to establish trust for whatever reason.
You guys just got it. It just clicked.
It did. It clicked. I understood who
He's a willing seller. And you're a willing buyer.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it.
He's professional. I'm professional. All we had to do was agree on a number. That's it.
So long story short, it's 150 plus acres. Buy for $3,000, probably sell for, end up.
6 or 8. Those are the initial comps. An acre. So that's going to be at least double our money. I'm good with that.
Probably more.
Totally good with that. I'll know more in a couple hours. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called How Jill and I Take on Other Partners for Very Specific Deals. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. That's a good deal.
That was a great deal.
That'll cap us off for my financial goals if we get it done in this year, 2022.
By the way,
we'll accomplish it.
I'd be very happy just doing one of those a month.
Oh my
I'm sure a
gosh.
lot of people here would do too. Let's see, Jill. I do one deal a month. I net $400,000. Yep, that works.
So you net 4, and then you do that 12 times.
Well, it's hard. That's what you're like. Well,
$5 million a year.
Well, shoot, I can do 2 a deal then, or two a month then. It's not that hard. Nope, you're right. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, speaking of all these big numbers and all these big deals, Jack and I are aware that not a lot of you have a couple $100,000, lying around to fund deals like this one. But don't worry. We do, and there's so many people in our community that do. So check out landfunding.com or go to our website, landinvestors.com, which is a version of our online community. And at the top, you'll see a little arrow that says deal funding, and that shows you where to submit it, what information we need, and we'll get some eyes on it, maybe with your bank.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.